it.
I'm
I'm ready.
tired of waiting for Jeff. Just go.
Yes. Now, please hit it.
Go.
All right.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a podcast designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. Whatever kind of LeChump or track dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate. We even think you Drifto Hella Flush guys are all right, as long as you built it yourself and drive it hard. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips, tricks, news and notes from the world of low buck racing, and if you can handle it, Chrissy will give you just the tip. I'll be your pit marshal.
Battery is low.
Everyone. For tech discussion culture.
Oh, all right. Wow.
Oh, man.
Hey, this is how you know
I could not have planned
we
that one
are-
if I wanted to.
That's how you know we are professionals. This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
Oh, he's in, and I'm mental. So,
And hey, thanks for coming back and listening to another amazing episode of our podcast. This is
We're just so sorry.
Yeah, before we get to anything, we need to start with apologies. First apology, Jeff is having some serious technical difficulties and has been in and out for the last 45 minutes as we've been getting ready, so we're not sure if we're going to have 3 or 3.5 or 4 hosts today. So apology number 1. Apology number 2, our audio last week was terrible.
Terrible.
Well, so Mental was just playing the audio for the intro on his Bluetooth speaker. That's why it told you the battery was low. So that's
Which might also be, it might be the answer to Jeff's technical problems that he's having right now on the.
All right, so Chris, continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just apologizing for our sound quality last week. We were trying something new. We were working on a soundboard with the microphones plugged in. We thought we tested the levels. We were playing it back on the computer speaker. It seemed okay. Once it got converted and uploaded, not so much. So, hey, we're learning. It's probably better as a Facebook Live episode than a podcast. We're trying. Thanks for bearing with us here as we keep learning how this stuff works. I mean, we never said we were good at this.
But we
I
have
think
a
our
lot of fun.
podcast runs about as well as our cars this weekend. So
Oof, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
let's hope we don't get another crash.
Yeah.
anyway,
I think
let's
we
start this
crash
thing up.
before we start this.
Yeah, Jeff is taking care of the crash part for us, just himself.
Yes.
That is true.
While we have Jeff, do you want to talk?
Yeah, what are you working on, Jeff?
What am I working on? Well, I'm working on fixing the horrible audio from last week, and I was going to try and restart my computer, but 45 minutes later, it's still not working. So all of you Apple users out there can make fun of me because I am a PC. And yeah, other than that, just hanging up Christmas lights and recovering from Road Atlanta.
Indeed,
Indeed.
there was a lot to recover from.
Mental, what's going on with your house? How
So you
are
guys,
things?
yes. Well, so you guys saw the pictures, and if you've been living under a rock, that rock is probably covered in snow because it snowed all through the South last weekend. Louisiana, Texas, everybody got dumped on.
And everyone
including
freaked
everyone,
out.
including us at Atlanta, and it was freezing cold. So Friday night and the Saturday morning, as I get to the track, my lovely bride sends me pictures of trees that had just collapsed and fallen in my driveway. And this is the interesting part of that. And I pointed out to everyone at the track that had I not been at the racetrack, my RV would have been there and the Suburban would have been there, and they both would have been destroyed. But because the RV wasn't there, Vicky pointed the Suburban at a different angle so she could unload stuff and not have to walk through the snow. So God loves fools, drunks, in the U.S. military, and well, I've been all three. So I spent.
Do you think it would have been that bad? Like it would have, like really good. What kind of tree branches fell? So just so you can, like, I saw the pictures, but like, you described them a little bit.
Well, it's I don't think like they wouldn't have flattened the cars to the point of pancakes, but where they would have hit is unrepairable. They would have hit on the A pillar of the Suburban, and they would have destroyed the overhead bunk on the RV, which is you start doing that kind of fiberglass repair, and you just quickly exceed the value of the vehicle.
It's never right after that, too, especially with the roof leaks on RVs. Yeah.
Yes.
Jeff knows all about that.
That's right. Sealed it all up.
So, and then because I was clearing all these fallen trees, the lovely neighbor guys across the street that took care of my wife during the snowstorm, they had a fallen tree. So I was able to go over there and clear that up for them, which led me to my burn barrel, which has been kind of driving me nuts because it doesn't have a lot of ventilation at the bottom, which gave me an excuse to bust out the plasma cutter.
Oh, you have a plasma cutter?
You have a plasma cutter. Yes. I'm not any good with it, but I have so much fun.
It's so much fun.
So much fun with the plasma.
How are you not good at it? It's not that hard.
It's I can cut what I'm trying to cut, but that kind of precision stuff where you get the smart guys, they'll use boards to keep their line straight and that sort of thing. And I'm not to that advanced level yet.
In any
That's
way.
What did you say?
I said in any way.
Oh. No, I thought plasma cutters were
except hair care.
There you go.
Hair
there
care.
you go.
Got it.
No, I walked into that one. I deserve that one.
Sorry.
Yeah. Don't apologize. That was good.
All right.
So, Chris, who wants to go? What are you guys working on?
We've been unpacking basically since we got it. We got home Monday night and been unpacking and just getting back to normal work and life and things like that. And actually now we're packing again because we're leaving to go to Florida tomorrow to visit some family.
Nice.
East Coast, 2/3 of the way down, Jensen Beach.
Nice.
Yeah,
cool.
It'll be good. Yeah, so we unload, which is nice that we can both do. So he threw the stuff in the house, and I kind of disseminated where everything needed to go in the house. And the other bigger, I'm still sick. So I was sick on Saturday, and we'll probably talk about it later. So I'm still trying to recover, and I'm finding when I'm back to normal that the whole world is sick. Everybody seems to have this kind of, I keep calling it the plague. And there's plenty of people that I was sharing. My coworker.
Mental space when you said the plague was like, oh my God, did I catch it?
Well, no, it's a crud. My wife
Crud,
caught it.
yeah.
My wife
Did
caught
she?
it. My coworker. So Vicky was knocked in bed for the last 2 days. She thought it was the flu, and then then it just went away.
Right, and that's kind of what I had, and so I feel like if you got it from me or you're gonna get it from her, like I feel like everybody's getting it from somebody, and most people, like people that work in schools, have said that there's like 20 kids went home in one day, and like everybody's just really suffering from it. So it's kind of like knocks you down for a couple days, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like mobile but still sound sick. So my coworkers and I have been sharing, like she went out to go get some tissues that had aloe and like puffy tissue, and then she was like, do you need this other box that I bought? And I was like, this is the best thing ever. So it's small joys right now. So
I love the ones with the menthol in them. They're the best.
Tissues with menthol?
Tissues with menthol, even better than the lotion ones. Look for it.
I don't even believe you. But anyway, so I have not seen them, but I'm trying to stay alive. Last night, Daycool and Nightcool are keeping me alive right now.
And amazingly,
I've
spent so much time in enclosed spaces with you in the last 5
Don't you
days.
say that. You say that.
You are taunting fate, good friend.
Yeah.
You're going to get it.
Well, luckily I was kicked out of the mental RV, so I don't have it. I spent some time in the fat guy RV, and it was
doesn't matter.
Hey,
I think
blame your brother, pal.
Oh no, I think the people are either getting it or somebody close to you had it. Anyway, so we've been packing and unpacking and then repacking.
The Civic is still on the trailer, although I did plug the block heater in because it's 19 degrees tonight. So the block heater is keeping the water only coolant in that car from freezing. That's a good.
Nice.
I'm really happy about that purchase.
Yeah, it's definitely a good way to go. Anyway,
all of our snow is melted.
Yeah.
Should
we move on to news and notes? Who's got a story to tell? Mental, you got something for Chump Car?
Yeah. So while we were suffering in the snow in Road Atlanta, the good folks at Champ Car we're also suffering the snow, and they actually you can go to their Facebook page and check it out. And actually, they have a gorgeous picture of the museum covered in snow. So it's actually worth looking at. And so it was basically the same nonsense we were dealing with. Okay, everything's frozen. Be careful walking through the paddock, but we're totally going racing. And why shouldn't we?
Damn right. This is NASCAR.
Do you know if
That's right?
So I heard from somebody who lives in Atlanta or close to it, one of my coworkers. She had said that they're all over Atlanta. There was different kind of varying degrees of snow. You know if the ones at Barber was worse or better than ours? The situation that we had.
Looking through the pictures that they had, I swear to you, it was exactly the same. You can see
Steve
you can see the snow off the side.
I'm sorry, you were talking over each other. What?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Steve claimed he got like a foot of snow at home and he couldn't do anything. So who knows?
Oh, the dishwashing fairy, yes. Yeah, well, he He lives at the bottom of a hill, which is at the bottom of a hill, and then his driveway is downhill.
Okay. All right. So, but
unlike my North Jersey house, which was the top of the hill,
the top of the hill,
and my driveway was straight up a hill.
That's seriously true, though.
It was cold up there.
It was. It was
so cold there. So anyway, Barbara, I also saw some pictures and video that looked like that they were the same ish of snow. I was just wondering about the ice, because I think ice was the biggest problem that we had.
And in the South, the biggest problem it's when the snow just doesn't happen. It rains and then it freezes and then it turns to snow. So you've always got that thin layer of ice underneath the snow, and then when it starts to melt, then refreezes overnight. So that's always the challenge. And even driving home, I had the RV actually step out on me a little bit driving up the road to my house because there was a snow melt that had come across the road. Just nothing uncontrollable, but that's just snow in the South.
Did you say drifto?
hung the shocker out the window, went woo, came right home, ironed the brim of my AER hat.
Excellent.
There you go.
Thank you. Good job.
There you go. Well, we definitely had fun at Road Atlanta. None of us spun, right? I mean, I don't think any of us.
I spun.
Oh, Chris spun. That's
it was
right.
it was the dry. It was my first spin.
Actually,
I'm pretty sure
you wait that for the right race update. Like, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I'm sure you owned up to a spin, Jeff. You just didn't go to the penalty box because you didn't want to wear the marital aid.
No, I didn't spin. Not at all.
He says now.
Anyway, we'll get to that in the other thing.
This is not news notes. This is race.
But let's keep doing news and notes. I did want to mention that one of the news and notes from our race was that professional racer extraordinaire and fellow Lemons racer Randy Probst,
an all-around nice guy
spun. An all-around nice guy, actually spun. Threw himself on the Lemons judges. His car was going to be parked, but if he raised, I believe it was $3,000 for the $3,000. $3,000 for Lemons of Love, they would not park his car and he would be able to do it. So he walked around the paddock in a dress collecting money for Lemons of Love and actually raised the money pretty well. Got on the microphone and annoyed us like David Vodden for a couple of hours.
He didn't ask us to shop at the store, though.
Absolutely. Checking the internet, I'm sure there's pictures of Randy Probst in a dress hawking money at the latest Lemons race.
Hey, Jeff.
And then there's also penalty photos of him after the penalty when he was putting on a skirt.
Little thing, Jeff. Randy's name does not have an R in it. It's not like it's it's Popst.
Popst.
Not
did I say something different? I'm sorry.
Probst.
Oh, sorry.
Popst.
No, that's the host of Survivor.
Yeah, there you go.
But he had a cute homemade. He had a cute homemade skirt on. It was like a little. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they were Kim Harmon. So
yeah. Well, Dale and Ken dressed up like Kim Harmon as a tribute to her.
Oh, I missed
and
this.
so they had those skirts because Dale was out there wearing that skirt when he was checking everybody's wristbands and belts before they went out onto the track, and so they gave it to Randy and his teammates so they could walk around and collect money.
That's excellent. Good. Thanks to Dale and Ken if they're out there because they do a great job for keeping us on track and keeping us safe and having a great attitude. We always appreciate it.
Everybody loves Dale, and if you don't, go find another race series because we're all going to beat you up.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. If we were cold in the car, imagine how cold they were standing around the paddock.
Totally.
No kidding. That's legit. So, hey, tell me about your trip home through Virginia. So now they're doing peak demand pricing on toll roads.
Yeah,
they do that crap in Atlanta.
Oh, really? So I posted this in our Facebook page, Everyone Racer. So if you want to see the story, you can. It's an NPR story. Basically, there are a few 10-mile sections of highway in Virginia, in the greater D.C. area, that are they used to be high occupancy vehicle lanes. Now they are lanes for people who wish to pay the toll during peak demand times.
Lexus lanes.
Or suck it, poor people.
Suck it, poor people lanes. So on the way down, Jim and I from New Jersey were driving in our Mazda 3, and we saw it, and it said, like, the toll was 18 cents or 80 cents or something like that. It was under $1. And we went, what the hell is that? And we just kept going. We didn't even pay attention to it. And then on the way home, we saw it, and it was $1.50, and we were like, that's really weird. Why would it change like that? And we did a quick Google search. We saw that it was on demand.
Jim
on
did the
flow
Google
of
search,
traffic.
Chrissy. Jeff was driving. He didn't do the Google search while he was
Thank you.
driving.
Yeah.
So Jeff,
Totally.
Jeff, as much as you love to expound on your degree for radio communications, I have a minor in economics, and that part of me absolutely loves surge
Get
pricing.
out.
Totally.
No.
Oh, no, I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I like it too.
I think it's wonderful.
My beef with it, particularly in Atlanta, because we paid, as taxpayers, we paid for high occupancy vehicle lanes, and now they're being turned into fundraisers, and that's not where my tax dollars should be going. So I'm a bit annoyed because I-75, the one I primarily travel, has both. We have high occupancy vehicle lanes, and they're building a Lexus lane to it. But I don't want my HOV lane taken because A, it makes sense, and then B, I can ride my motorcycle on the HOV lane.
I had actually, I know, I was only saying because when Menschel and I were doing parts run, I had asked him and said there was a lane that was there and I had not seen it before. And the lane said it was like 0.04 cents to ride in that lane. And I was like, what is that even? But it was just this Saturday night at 8 o'clock and there was nothing.
Pre-pig run.
Well,
So,
that was it. When we went down at like 2 a.m. or 1, it was probably between midnight and 2 a.m. in Virginia. It was literally 18 cents.
Yeah,
and
I
we
was
didn't
like,
understand what
really?
the hell it was about.
I agree. Yeah, I had the same thing.
All right.
But no, I also agree with surge pricing. I also agree with, London had its center city pricing where you couldn't get into the center part of London without paying a tax, and the tax was exuberantly high.
The congestion charge.
Congestion charge, and they basically said,
"Suck it, poor lads.
We don't want you coming into the center of London," and it totally makes sense.
If you're poor.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
I want some more. Please, may I please drive my tiny Citroen into the city?
Nope, but you can drive
that
your
is
Prius there all you want.
Or your Mini. Like, there's a tiny Citroen doesn't exist. Just so
No,
you
it's
know.
True.
In Europe, it does.
Yes.
All right. So, hey, did we have any listener
Well,
feedback?
before we go to listener feedback, I do want to throw this one up there. Hallett Motor Racing Circuit back in Oklahoma, kind of my home circuit when I lived out there. One of the last great family-run tracks. It's literally run by Connie and her son. They own it. They run it. They're great. Connie doesn't even have an office. She has a desk in the cafeteria where everybody goes in there. She hugs everybody. Their rollback was stolen. They've got an old Dodge 3500 rollback. We've posted it on our Facebook page. I'm going to encourage anyone who's a part of another racing community to please share that post because this isn't some big giant corporate track that they stole this from. This is a working blue collar pair of folks, and they need that truck. Go ahead, Chrissy.
I was just wondering I'm sorry, I might have missed this. What town is part of the country?
Oklahoma.
It's in Oklahoma. It's between it's just they say it's just outside of Tulsa. It's about 45 minutes outside of Tulsa, between Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Hallett Motor Racing Circuit.
Why don't you say Oklahoma the correct way?
Where the wren goes sweeping across the prairie.
No, Oklahoma.
So Connie had her rollback taken from her racetrack out in Oklahoma, and that's just some straight up bull crap. So y'all needs to be sharing that on that space face and see if they can get their truck back.
That's better.
That's much better.
Thank you.
It has their logo on it though. Like, is it that easy to steal?
Yes.
It's probably in a container
canal.
or in Mexico or something.
Oh, I hope
sadly.
not.
Probably is in Mexico.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
No es bueno.
Oh, it's boy.
But yeah,
It's better.
But if you're on a high performance or any sort of racing page, share that post.
Yeah, it's
Right.
better the truck gets to Oklahoma than like to the Middle East and ISIS is driving it around.
Like that,
Like all those other
Handle
Toyota
Hallett
trucks
truck.
that get stolen.
or like that plumber from Texas who had his F-250 with
plumber from
the
Texas.
machine gun in the back.
Yes.
Oh well.
I thought they were all Toyotas. I didn't think it was an F-50.
Oh yeah, no, there's one specific one. Anyway,
It was an article. I remember this because it still had his phone number on it while ISIS is over there driving his 250.
it's like Bill F. Johnson Plumbing, 55 Klondike 52827, and it's got a bunch of dudes in the back with a machine gun just shooting everything. And so Bill F. Johnson Plumbing started getting hate calls about why are you sponsoring terrorism. He's like,
I'm absolutely certain that a Texas plumber, 50 caliber or no, could take out a truck full of ISIS just by being mad.
Oh, well.
Well, let's get on to our main topic here. We are going to finish the
Listener feedback.
Listener feedback. That's not in the show notes.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Oh, sorry, I printed.
Oh, there's
that's
your
the
problem.
I printed
That's why
earlier.
your computer broke.
I know.
Because printing is the devil.
So we do it. We have two listener notes. One's not really so much a listener note, but again, we talked about this Saturday, but you probably couldn't hear it because the audio was terrible. But Chris Champion sent me a lovely text before I headed to my car after work today, sincerely congratulating Three Pedal Mafia on an epic win. He said it would have been so much better if it had been this world-class battle between the 280 and the RX 3.8, just duking it out to the last minute while we all sit on the sidelines and bite our nails and hope nothing blows up. But the way it played out, and again, you couldn't have classier competitors than Chris and Mary. They're just awesome. Although their children are off to a life of crime. I'm just going to throw that one out there right now. They're breaking into RVs and stealing baked goods. So I don't know how that works. But
they're allowed. The baked goods are open for discussion. They're allowed to have them.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be settled with an epic battle on the track. So we're looking to do that again next year.
We love you, Mary and Chris.
We do.
So we probably should actually update that so everybody knows what we're talking about.
Oh, that's right.
Since we didn't actually mention at the last podcast.
Let me dig up a song.
Well, Jeff, you keep talking while Menzel pulls the song up.
I will. So for those of you who don't pay attention, and who the heck does pay attention to the
why would you pay
championship
attention to this?
in Lemons, the Three Pedal Mafia won the national championship in Lemons.
And Jeff, what does that get? What does that get?
Yeah, what does that mean?
That means absolutely nothing. Gets you absolutely nothing. There isn't even a trophy or a mention at the last race, as we know.
Deliberately don't they mention the people who don't win and give them trophies.
Well, that happened to us when we lost the East Coast Championship and got the I Got Screwed award. We no mention of the person who won, just that we lost.
All right, we'll stop that before we get copyright.
Don't do that.
So anyway, Chris, if you want to mention the points, but basically we were rolled in with two different cars registered, which gives us 6 points, and another team rolled in with two cars, giving it 6 points, and putting them exactly 3 points behind us. And I was given the orders to try and keep up with them. Went out in the wet and immediately fell totally behind. There was actually two teams that were competing for the points, and I can't remember the name of the other team.
It was the Ginger.
Was it Ginger Racing? Ginger Racing was like
another solid team out of the Gulf region.
Or was it Knox Vegas too?
Knox Vegas was definitely up.
If Knox Vegas had put two cars in the top 10, they could have had it too.
That's true. And another great bunch of classy folks. Loan me a radio adapter for my helmet.
Yeah, all great people. So in the end, through everyone's combined failure,
totally actually a thing.
We won.
Yep.
And this is the interesting thing: is all those top teams, they're all hard themers. They're all hard. They build some interesting stuff. And what's it is at the end of the day, this is where I start flaunting this in the face of that's not real racing because you guys have too much fun. I dare any one of them to keep up with Mary Harris behind the wheel of that Z, because I've had her out horsepowered by 200 horsepower, and it is not easy to get away from her. Chrissy?
So I think all of these teams are such good groups. They all have such the spirit of Lemons. They have the really fast cars, but they also have C-class cars. They have B-class cars, and all of them are really have the different parts of what makes Lemons great, I think. So some of them will run the crappy car, the crappy C car to try to win an IOE. Like they've all probably won IOE, and they've also won B and C class, and maybe A class for that matter. So I feel like that's what makes it great, is that we're all kind of battling, and we're saying these teams are great, but they all, like us, really have a great spirit of Lemons.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'll just put in a plug here for Knox Vegas. Knox Vegas has some of the greatest themes. They're what are they? Contour powered fleet, including
it's all
corn.
Yeah, it's all Ford Duratec 3 liters out of Tauruses.
But their Happy Toys truck and Bandit or whatever the heck snowman truck theme on the show, whatever thing
Geo.
that is,
The
Geo show.
Geo. Which was at Road Atlanta this weekend and had a bit of an incident. But yeah.
Well, it had a new theme, too. It was the Dale's Dead Bug van from King of the Hill.
Yeah.
We might have to do a propane and propane accessories for a future theme.
Chrissy says no. She's not interested in that.
I say this all the time. Chrissy's doing this. Chrissy's doing that. Chrissy always comes, I'm not doing that. Chrissy is shaking her head silently and angrily. No. Only propane. No accessories.
Thank you. I didn't even just say it. Go ahead. Anyway. So, all right. We're talking listener feedback. Is there an additional listener feedback?
Also got another comment from Todd. He's like, hey, I'm halfway through the RA episode, the Road Atlanta episode. The audio is manageable because my immediate thing was I'm sorry. And he said, I didn't expect you to read all my comments out loud. And I said, well, it's funnier that way, especially the part about us complaining, why would he get anything done? And telling Jeff that life is hard.
Hey,
I'm not upset.
I appreciated Todd's feedback. I thought it was on point. I thought it was specific, and I thought it was something actionable. I appreciate it. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. And thanks to our other listener, of course, Chrissy's mom.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yay.
Everyone
Hi,
enjoyed
Chrissy's mom.
the ample baked goods this weekend.
Quite.
You are not kidding. Yeah.
Oh, white.
Yes,
I told her.
Actually, those baked goods got us farther than money because it got me a wristband. It got us in real good with the corner workers. It had tiny children running around our RV. It was fantastic all the way around.
I feel like I made you a plate that had multiple different kinds, made it look like it was not slapped together. Yeah, I think it worked.
It's like
Mental
cigarettes in prison.
Mental even bribed the guys who cleaned the trash out of our paddock that was filled with dead pigs. So,
yeah,
wow.
They came by. I'm like, hey guys, I appreciate it. Here, take some of these.
Oh,
take
that's
some
great. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, are we on to the main topic?
I think so.
main topic.
Which
Race
is
Wait, hold on, because let's see if we're adapting to feedback. What's our time?
27:07.
Okay, so we're doing better.
Yep.
All right.
Better.
Main topic.
Like Citroen better.
Exactly. So we already did the race update Saturday through because we recorded last Saturday. What happened on Sunday? Who wants to start?
Well, Jeff, we were thinking let's give a quick recap of before then for the people that didn't want to stand through our terrible Road Atlanta audio.
That's fine.
Because one of the things was by Saturday we were utterly convinced that it was lost. I think your opening statement, Jeff, was, and we have blown it away. It is all gone.
So Friday was snow. It was terrible. We each took like 5 laps in the hundreds to see where the track went. Saturday, Jeff started us out. It was wet. It was slippery and a little tragic, but things gradually started to dry up while Jeff was out there.
Just like Jeff's prom night.
Right. Jeff, you want to tell us just a few minutes about what your stint was like out there in the morning? Jeff? Nope, Jeff's gone. We lost Jeff.
No, Jeff doesn't want to give
we lose. Battery is low.
So what happened with Jeff is he's out there running along. It's getting drier. He's starting to gradually speed up. He's not making any mistakes, but he's also not running as fast as the fast cars are. So he's going along. He's okay, and then he comes over the top of a hill and sees cars parked in front of him. He spikes the brakes, stalls the motor, gets off the brakes and the clutch, pops the motor again, and all of a sudden the motor does not run right. It had been running great. It had great power, no problems. After this, it's got a miss. It's a quick miss. It's different than our usual boost over boost miss that automatically shuts the boost down shuts the motor down once the boost gets too high. So
can you tell what that sounds like?
The boost cut? Well, the boost cut is usually just imagine you're coming up, the motor's making its max power ever, and then it just stops. It just shuts off until it gets
So according
back
to
down.
Chrissy, it sounds like my Chihuahua.
Pretty much.
Oh, no, that's when I got in the car, it would sound like.
Well, you had a different one. You had the ignition miss, which is the problem we found later.
I did.
So
yes.
Jeff then had this other problem that came up. We couldn't figure out what it was. He said it was getting worse, and we were trying to think. Well, it started when he did the motor stalled and then started again. We think, well, that's a real quick stress in the motor. Maybe we skipped a timing belt tooth. So we bring the car in, pull the valve cover, run the engine over by hand. Don't see any spots in the timing belt that are off. Doesn't look like it's off. Look around, can't find anything wrong, and we send Jeff back out. And Somehow,
He's back now. He can tell you about it.
Somehow,
I am back. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Hey,
sorry, now even my devices are crashing.
No worries. After you had the poor running issue, we brought the car in. We fiddled with it. We figured it was not the timing belt. We checked a bunch of things, and we sent you back out. How was it?
Ran great. Pulled like a train.
Right. We did
after the cap and rotor. Cap and rotor, right?
Oh, that's right. We did the cap and rotor. That's what we found. We had the distributor cap off. It looked a little rough inside. We replaced it with another one we had. Car ran great. So Jeff ran it. Jim ran it. Chrissy was feeling pretty sick. I ran it. And it's really, I was running down every single car in the track down the straight except two of them. One of them is our RX. And I don't remember what the other one was, but we were seeing, I think my max speed in the straight was 118, which for a Civic with a giraffe in the head is pretty fantastic. We were passing everybody.
Single cam Civic.
Right. And that car was passing everybody. We got down to a 153. Again, pretty great for a Civic. And it was running wonderfully. And then it started to break up. It almost was like it was running out of gas, but it wasn't quite so much. So this is about 4 o'clock, an hour left. We pulled in, threw 5 gallons of gas in it just to rule that out because we knew we were burning a lot in that long straight. We were into 5th gear. We knew we were burning a lot of gas, but 5 gallons of gas did nothing, so we pulled it in and figured there was something else in that distributor that wasn't any good because in general with a Honda, anytime there's a problem that doesn't run right, it's pretty much in the distributor because all the things are in the distributor. The crank position sensor, the igniter, the coil, it's all right there. So,
and we know this because you rebuilt every component of that distributor over the weekend twice, if I count correctly.
Yes.
And this is, and I don't want to take away from the main topic, but this is one of the key things that we were talking about there, because Jeff's initial call over the radio was, and I think I've almost got the quote down. It feels ignition-y.
Yeah,
he said, it feels like ignition, and in your mindset going into this, and this is the lesson learned aspect of this, is you were thinking, no, it's the turbo, it's the boost gauge, it's this.
Well, I was thinking it was the boost cut because that's been a problem with us in the past because we are on the ragged edge of what the map sensor can handle, and we have the ECU will shut the car down if it sees 10 pounds of boost, and
right,
so, and we have it set at 9.5.
Everyone always fights. Yeah, and everyone always fights the last war. So there is a tendency for problem solving to always go back to the last problem you had. And I want you to keep walking through this. Just from an outside observation standpoint. It's
true, but that's the whole point of this conversation is to get into troubleshooting. What do you do when you can't figure out what it is? So, Jeff was pretty sure it was not the boost issue because he was watching the gauge. And he said the boost was not getting up high, so that was probably not it. And he knows what it felt like, so he says it wasn't the boost issue. Okay, so it's not a boost issue. And I felt something different, too. When I was out there, it was definitely an ignition or fuel issue. It was not a boost issue because it was low speeds. It was doing it out of corners. It was not boost related. So
felt almost fuel starvy, which is why we threw the 5 gallons at it.
Right, and it wasn't that. So we said, okay, well, let's work on other ignition things. So that night we replaced basically the whole distributer. Figuring, well, that's worth
3 auto zones later.
Well, that was the next day. That night, we replaced all the bits that we needed to in the distributor, and also that's the other thing I found on the end of the day on Saturday was I said these brakes don't feel real good. I'm having to pump them up a few times.
I think the pictures. Did the pictures make it to E1R, or are they just on 3 Pedal Mafia?
I put them on the 3 Pedal Mafia page, but I can put them on.
They're pretty epic.
I'm going to go take care of that right now, and we're going to put those awesome brake photos on the E1R page because that was truly epic.
And somehow I thought it was
Tetanus Racing neon epic brake failure.
I thought it was just braking from 120 down to 40 for that corner. It was doing it. So I was pumping them up like
that was the welding part.
Sure. Well, we pulled the car and we checked the brakes of the pyrometer. The front rotors were up to 700 degrees. That was after pulling it in. So we said, we're probably cooking something. Okay, fine. We've never been on a track with this much speed and this much braking. Fine. Okay, so go a little slower. So I went a little slower. I was still pumping the brakes up. I said, these deals don't feel right. So then when the ignition problem failed, okay, we came in. Right.
Bring it in.
And then we're doing our usual nightly checks, and I really look at the right rear brake. I start to turn the wheel, and it doesn't turn real well. I don't know why it doesn't turn real well until I really look and found, okay, we ate through the entire inner pad on the left rear wheel, and wore through so much of the backing plate that it welded itself to the piston. The piston has come most of the way out of the bore, and not only that, the backing plate moved into the groove between the caliper bracket and the rotor and started to fall out, and that's where it welded itself to the piston.
Pretty epic.
So it's an exciting failure. Fortunately, nothing worse happened. We bled the brakes out. Everything else was fine.
And we got to put in our highly specific, discussed 2 or 3 days ago, 2 or 3 shows ago,
quiet starts.
Wagner quick stop, quiet stop,
quiet stops,
thermo quiets, whatever.
One time I needed some pads because our Porterfield R4Es that we put in the back, which in 3 years we've gone through now actually 2 complete sets of rear brakes in 4 years or 3 years. I needed some pads quick, so I went to the auto parts store and I bought the cheapest one they had. I think it was the Wagner Quiet Stop. So those went on the back with a spare rotor we had, and got that back together, and that was good. We put a distributor built out of parts I put on, and we thought we were all ready for Sunday. There we go.
And this is after our disastrous recording Saturday night, what was interesting is now Sunday, the pressure was off. Okay, you know what? It's been fun. We made a valiant effort at it, and if anyone's going to take it from the Three Puddle Mafia, it couldn't happen to nicer people than Tetanus Racing. So
totally.
we were all set up to just go out there and have a good time. And lo and behold, it's dry, and you guys were out there turning some sinisterly quick laps until.
Well, then Sunday morning we went to start the car up, where we got Jim dressed. We say, okay, it's about 20 minutes ahead. Let's get the car warmed up. We go click the key. Nothing. Click, 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 click.
We're making breakfast,
click,
and we're just
nothing.
like, oh, things are fine. And they're just like, oh, are we going to get in the car? And you're like, no.
The starter wasn't even clicking.
Nothing.
Nothing was happening. So that proceeded another, a whole bunch of diagnosis, tracing the entire starting system. Eventually, what it turned out to be was the starter relay appeared to have gotten some water in it during Friday. That water,
imagine that.
Right. That water then froze. So the relay essentially was frozen to shut. So I took the relay off, and I'm trying to, after plugging all the wires, testing, then I start banging on the relay, figuring something wrong with it, and some rusty water comes out of the relay. So I banged on it a whole bunch more and put it back in, and wouldn't you know it, the car started right up.
And then it didn't.
Yep.
And did it
Until.
Right, like this is not the end of the story.
Well, it started right up, and until we actually wanted to drive it.
Okay, keep going.
That didn't work at all. And it would crank and crank and crank and crank and crank. So the starter would go, but it wouldn't actually fire. That led us down a whole nother troubleshooting road. And this is the bit of the topic we're trying to get to. How do you deal with troubleshooting when you can't figure it out? So we knew we had it. It's either fuel or ignition, okay? So we had a fuel pressure gauge. We looked at that. We had fuel pressure. Okay, so it's probably not that. So we think it's ignition. So we pull the spark plug, put it against the block, crank, no spark there.
No
okay.
spark.
So now we start troubleshooting everything in the distributor. We start with the coil. That was fine. Started with it, and then the ignition module. That was fine. We were testing, 12 volts into the whole distributor. That was fine. We tried a different whole distributor setup with a different crank sensor and things. No difference. Everything was was not showing any problems. Everything we tested. So we actually bought a whole new distributor just to rule everything out, because it's all, again, in the Honda, it's all in the distributor. Still wouldn't start. Crank, 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 no start. So we said, all right, well, it's not there anymore, but it's still a spark issue.
And what was interesting about this is watching this, watching you troubleshoot this, because quickly you and Jeff have long exceeded my limited capabilities. And you guys were adamant refusal to get. Are you talking to me, Chrissy, or Chris?
No, I'm talking to Chris. Sorry.
Okay. You guys adamantly refused to get upset. And I remember just a couple of times you'd get like something to drink, or you'd get a piece of bacon, and you would just sit in the chair.
It's happened so many times.
But you that was the thing but that's the type of stuff that keeps you from making expensive and stupid mistakes. And you get bacon. Bacon always helps. Bacon always helps. But just to sit down and start rolling through. Now, what I loved and hated about it is everybody would walk by and go, "Hey, what's the matter? It won't crank." Oh, well, did you check? And then they would proceed to list every single thing that
we already did. Yes.
And like the Facebooks was blowing up. It was like, you try these 25 things.
It was helpful the first 7 times, but around time 17, when the 8-year-old kid comes over and goes, did you check the spark plugs? You know.
Yeah. There was a fine a fine gentleman who came up with the most hilarious accent I think we've heard in a Lemons paddock in years.
Still unidentified.
And really nice guy, though. Really, really nice guy.
Really nice guy.
He was really interested.
And he's very earnest about the whole thing, too.
And then he walked away, and we'd all just kind of look at each other and giggle, because we didn't want to giggle at his accent in front of him, because that would be uncouth. But it was great.
And I never met anyone more excited about a Wartburg.
Oh,
yeah. He did get excited about Wartburg. I will say, Mental, that you saw us at a very good diagnostic moment. It wasn't Citroen levels of frustration where I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, it's not getting fuel. I don't know why, but it's not getting fuel.
It's because Chris has a giant Honda brain. It's because he's thinking exactly what you could possibly have wrong with this issue. You've identified it all, and then you find the plug
we
that
knew,
is a
we
mess.
knew it was spark related, and we replaced everything in the distributor. So okay, now we got to start going backwards from there. So we start tracing the whole wiring harness.
Well, and hang on, because I do want the listeners to get this, because this is valid information, and this is keeping on topic. So we have no spark, and we have eliminated every possible problem, so we thought.
In the distributor.
In the distributor. And you pulled more than one spark plug. I believe you guys tested 3 separate spark plugs.
That's correct.
Two different.
Two. Yeah. And you completely changed out all of the wires and the coil and the rotor and cap again. Right?
Yeah. We did it all twice.
Yeah. You have eliminated all of the logical stuff. Okay, so for everyone sitting there driving in their car going, you should have just totally did this. Because I'm telling you right now, you're wrong.
We did. We did all of those things. So then we start tracing wires in the harness, and upon very close inspection, we see that on the plug, there were the main engine harness plugs into the distributor. If you look underneath it, you got to bend it out of the way, look underneath it. The insulation of the 10 wires, 8 of them, is in poor condition. So much so that there's bare wire showing on 6 of them.
and some of those 6 have like 2 threads left.
Right. Which is just enough that when you're testing it under no load, it'll show continuity, it'll show 12 volts. It will not work when you have a good load on it. So
and these guys had the Haynes manual out with the 2-page wiring diagram, and one of them is sitting in a chair going, okay, green, black, and white stripe wire. And the other one has got a voltmeter, and he's in there going, test good. I mean, this is the level that we are at this point. I say you two.
So here's how we ended up fixing. We ended up we didn't want to destroy any of the connectors we had because we just bought this new distributor. We don't want to ruin that. So we ended up de-pinning both 10-pin connectors, both sides of the 10-pin connectors, stripping the crappy ends off the wiring harness side, crimping on some just normal spade female connectors that are totally not right. But if you squeeze them with a pair of pliers, you can squeeze the nice Honda little pin into it, and you end up getting that in, and then wrapping it with a whole ton of electrical tape. So by doing that to each individual pin, we ended up getting the car back and running again. And then Chrissy took it out for 2 hours.
I took it out for a lap, and then we had some issues.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first time we only did 6 of the wires because we said, well, these other ones almost so bad.
This is all you need.
Right.
These 2 look good.
I ran around once, and I was like,
good. We're fine.
Well, you had 2 good one good lap, and then it was terrible. And then so we read the code off the check engine light, which is the first time I had thrown one, and it was a crank position sensor. So I said, oh well, that's the 2 wires I didn't do, so I'll do those too.
It's great going around a 2-mile plus track, going that. That's exactly.
And I'm going to tell you guys right now, that was the most hysterical radio conversation I have ever listened to, because you didn't want to bring her in because she was turning good times. Well, what noise is it making? Well, it sounds like that. No. What noise is it making? So while Chrissy is on the back straightaway, she's trying to imitate the noise that it is making into Chris's big Honda brain that he's trying to interpret. Okay,
is it on the gas or off the gas? Bah, 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 bah. That's exactly what it would do.
Yep. And that was what it did.
Fine.
Well, and that was basically the exact same conversation I was having with Chris during my stint.
Yep.
It's like, no, Chris, it's going blip, 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 blip.
Yep.
Not blip, 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 blip.
Blip, blip. Yeah.
And not bah.
Exactly.
So the car was
Okay,
fine.
so
Eventually, I drove it, and it was down on power Sunday versus Saturday. I think I just
Which makes me feel so much better because I thought my power was
I was
down
not
and-
walking away from people. My max straightaway speed was down like 7 miles an hour. I think I just didn't put I set the timing by eye on the distributor, and I think that was the problem.
Okay, so there's so much more. Everybody has so
Sorry,
many
I'm done.
things to talk about. Okay.
Okay,
Mental?
well, and this is an excellent segue. So in the completely opposite camp, our actually the unsung hero of this Road Atlanta race, Darren, because Darren helped organize not just where everybody was going to be camping. He was basically driving for two separate teams, the Cervezas and for Three Pedal Mafia. He got us all in there.
Squirt and Coronas.
Squirt Corona, sorry. I
Really
had
not Cerveza. Like,
No,
no,
sorry.
no.
No, well, yeah. Squirt and Coronas. So he was driving for those two teams. He got the RV set up, my RV that I had left out there Wednesday. So all across the board, he even bought some god-awful potato salad just to make sure that we are all fed. But so Darren's brother-in-law was running under the three-pedal flag in the old Speedy Cop SC400. And because the dishwashing ferry was snowed in, they were running short of drivers. So they asked me to strap in. So I strapped into that car, and I made it almost 4 laps for complete electrical failure on that car. Coasted it behind the pit wall in the inner paddock. Now, their plan of attack, instead of going through and carefully troubleshooting every wire on the car, was to go buy another car.
They're resourceful.
Because Lexus LS400s just, rain from the sky.
SC400.
Just rain from the sky in the greater Atlanta area, I guess.
Sure. In a snowstorm,
In a
no problem.
snowstorm.
And bright and early Sunday morning, as we were all having our bacon, in comes John with a truck and on the trailer, a really good SC400, except for the giant pole-shaped dent in the front bumper where it wrapped itself around something, and they got that SC to fire up and got almost another 10 whole laps out of it before it ended up on the trailer.
Yeah. I have to say that the best prediction of the weekend happened in Lemon's Tech. Jay is BS teching or regular teching the LS, and he looks at John. SC, sorry, SC.
400.
Sorry, I don't know my Lexuses. He says, "Is this the old Speedy Cop car?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he says, "Well, this thing is going to be horrible and blah 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 blah." And John says, "No, it's going to be great. We really went through it." And he says, "Son, this car has been in Lemons a lot longer than you have, and it has broken more hearts than you could possibly imagine."
Is that what he said?
He didn't say son. I kind of added that, but that was the tone.
Oh my God.
He said this car has broken more hearts than you could possibly imagine.
That's awesome.
And I think he gave him B0. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he
He
did.
only did what 20 laps or something.
Yeah.
And Jeff, here's the easy way for Lexuses. It's an SC400. That's a sport coupe.
Oh.
An
there you
LS
go.
is a luxury sedan.
Luxury sedan. Yeah, very good. Who
This
cares?
This is a bit of a side note, but I'm going to throw this out there for our listeners and post up on our Facebook page if this has ever happened to you. So they got towed in, and it's a big, heavy car, and this thing is actually having some issues. Yeah, and I see the fingers up there. I'm frozen on the screen, but I'm acknowledging the time. So the tow truck driver brings them in, and now I don't want to cast anything disparaging on the Road Atlanta hired out guys because they were hustling all weekend with snow and ice and just lemons races, people being stupid. They were working, but the tow strap broke, and the guy tells John that he owes him $100 in cash for this tow strap.
Wow.
To which John says, no, I don't. He said, well, you didn't keep it taut, which he actually did. He was trying to keep this car taut. They've got pictures of him keeping it taut. And the guy was like, I want $100 cash right now, cash or check. Well, it's not 1984. No one writes a check. And he says,
I write lots of checks.
He says, I can go and give you a card. And we ended up in headquarters arguing about this. Chris, you got something about that.
Well, yeah, we were there. The guy was actually, the tow truck driver was very aggressive about this. It was not as, yes, sir, your charge is $100 for this. Please review cash or check payment. Thank you very much. It was, you owe me $100 cash now. You broke my strap. Cash now. That's it. And he was very aggressive about the whole thing. And so John asked me, and I said, I've never heard of that before. It doesn't seem right to me. So be it.
Yeah,
I had no
we all
problems.
kind of chimed in saying, do not pay that dude $100.
I have no problem throwing a little shade. It was Wade Towing out of somewhere in Georgia. It was a white Dodge Ram. Guy was shady as can be. Never heard of that before. No one else had the problem. John was hard on the brakes, and that's the car coming down that steep hill. Yeah, this janky ass tow strap the guy had just for whatever reason broke, and so be it. Even if John rolled over it a bit, okay. Yeah,
cost of doing business,
right?
So we end up in the we're the operations section, and the guy turns to us and goes, "This is not my problem. Go someplace else." And I look it up, and like the most expensive tow strap I could find was $60, and so they said, "Go talk to Jay." And we're like, "Okay, we'll go talk to Jay." And now John, to his credit, said, "Hey, I'll drop ship it off of Amazon and send it to you." And he was like, "No, it's got to be $100 strap because that's how much they cost." And John was like, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the $60 strap, sell it to you for $90 and make you a hero in your company. But these are your choices." And the guy got in his truck and drove off because I think he realized his shakedown wasn't working.
Oh my goodness.
If you've ever had anything like that happen to you, throw something on our Facebook page because I've been doing this for a long time and I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Yep. We're getting a little long here, so I'm going to throw something in and totally say we'll skip the other parts of my section to the rest of the crew here. But we did once have a $100 charge in a Lemons paddock when we dented the wall of
totally
garage at
Thompson.
Connecticut, right? Thompson, Connecticut.
Who was driving?
And I was.
Okay.
Look, I'm pretty sure that weekend I also crashed the Lemons car into your truck.
No, that was the next race.
That was the next race. I can't remember.
That as well.
It's been there's been several consecutive races. My truck has gotten crashed into by not me from our team.
You did one though.
But no, the track manager asked for $100, and one of our teammates, who shall remain nameless, Dan, paid him $100, and
Well, was it the same kind of aggressiveness, or was it like, "Look, dude, you blew this"?
It was not as aggressive, and we genuinely did dent the corner of the garage.
Their brand new garage
Right.
at their brand new racetrack. So
yeah,
I totally did. Just a safety tip out there, everyone. Only one person yells instructions to the guy pulling in the race car.
Good plan.
Or only listen to the one person you trust.
Yeah, exactly. We can do the RX update next week. Let's just move on to the next part of the show.
Hello, sweeter but terrible.
Hello, sweeter but terrible.
Go for it, Jeff.
I guess this is mine here too. So we all know that I have a giant black 20-foot, nose trailer in my yard. My neighbors hate it. They've called the township on me on several other crap that I have laying around.
It's not the trailer that gets the call, Jeff.
The question is, I have now done all of the Christmas decorating. I have lights all over my house. Should I put lights on the giant 20-foot V-nose trailer that sits in front of my house? Do I make that more festive, or does that draw more attention to it?
I want to go first because I am the resident redneck of the team, so you know where my vote goes. Of course you do. Duh. Please. And make sure somewhere in there's a big number 3.
See, nice. I think it has to be appropriate, like a Santa in a race car inflatable on the top of the trailer.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh. I kind of like that idea.
So if you make it theme, it's festive.
Yeah.
I was thinking small fake tree. That's what I'm thinking.
Small fake tree on top?
Yeah.
Well, I do. When we used to have the open half magic trailer, which will someday be Mental's, I actually had an inflatable penguin in a Santa hat sitting in the driver's seat because it was an open cockpit. I thought that was festive.
Did anybody else think it was festive?
I have no idea.
Our dishwashing fairy, Steve, who we saw for about 15 minutes this weekend, did at one point, because he's super into Christmas decorations. That's his thing. And
he does that thing where he like programs it to go with a radio station nearby. Yeah,
and he has like a whole truck that he like just.
That's what I was getting into. In this house here in Pennsylvania, he bought a janky, because they're all janky, Bradley GT with no engine, because that's all Bradley GTs. I think it was like $200. And he set it up in his front yard, and he put like halogen outdoor spotlights in the headlights and something else in the taillights, and put a bow on the roof and lit it up, and that was part of his display. It was like a Matchbox car.
Oh, nice.
But it was a $200 Bradley GT.
Oh my God, a Bradley GT. How come that didn't end up in our paddock? I don't know.
Because we all know how awful they are.
Yeah, but we could have put a motor in that thing.
Back here, we could have put like the Wartburg setup in there. But back here in Georgia, he was trying to buy a bumper car too, and the Craigslist guy flaked on it. But he was going to do the same thing.
Bumper cars are extremely expensive, so they're a good catch if you can catch them.
Otherwise, we would have one as a paddock vehicle by now.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So what is it? So what is the vote? Christmas lights or no Christmas lights? Around the table, go.
Yes.
The right decoration, yes. Not just some lights on it.
Chrissy?
The worst thing you can possibly think of, add it to it.
Really,
really ugly decorations.
All right.
Go
by the end of the week,
big or go home.
By the end of the weekend, expect pictures on the ER1 Facebook page.
Can't wait.
All right, so now do we have time for everyone's favorite segment? Well, everyone's favorite disappointing segment?
We always do.
It's
just
the tip.
Why did we get to a pigs in space thing?
I don't know.
Nice. Oh, okay. So this is a quick one. Reckless decorating. Really? Yeah, it's a thing. So it's serious, and there are a lot of people that are just hurting themselves while decorating. And Jeff, you might be in there. It's very easy to do so. So at least 240 people a day are going to emergency rooms for falling off ladders, getting cut, getting burned, all of the stuff, trying to have a great holiday, which is really silly.
How do you injure yourself? How do you burn yourself doing, I don't know, this is crazy. Falling off ladders, I totally understand.
Well, I think that's what a lot of it is a lot of it's when you're rushing and trying to do stuff, trying to get done. You're like, okay, you put all your decorations up and then you get down and you stand on the sidewalk and you say, wow, this is great stuff. What am I doing? Oh, wait, that thing on the roof is a little bit to the right or it's falling down. Let me go up there. And they're rushing and they're falling off the roof and like breaking your pelvis. So, and all of this is information from an NPR segment. I have to give them a shout out.
Oh, we're all NPR nerds.
That's a second NPR reference in this show.
Oh, okay. So, well, that's true. That's like reckless decorating. That's why I thought it was funny because it's like, who thinks of that? But I feel like that's also a Lemony thing.
Hey, nothing goes together like crappy race cars and NPR.
Right. Absolutely.
Sure. When you're done racing them, you donate them. You donate your car to National Public Radio.
Towing your car away and selling it.
Exactly.
All right,
actually,
so
we did listen once in a actual Lemons race. We have listened to NPR because when Spank had his stock Prius with the Coexist, we were out there running the stock Prius. I think it was the time of the crisis in Crimea, so we were all listening to
well, that's a riveting topic.
Yes.
Let me tell you.
And a future show topic. So we're just going to throw that little nugget out there. But you're going to have to download all of them to figure out which one.
Okay. Anyway, so back to don't rush. Is when you're putting up decorations, you're trying to get it in, especially when it's as cold as it is in the Northeast. It is cold. You're trying to hurry. Don't slow down. Don't rush.
Yeah. Got it. Excellent. Anybody have anything else for the good of the order? Should I go for that?
Now, Jeff, can you do the credits, or do you need me to? You're just going to go with without the theme.
Hang on, guys.
We can just go without the theme.
Our audio is skipping there.
Because folks, we don't edit.
That's all right. We're good now.
Yeah, our audio was skipping a little bit there, so we missed a whole bunch of things people said. But we're just going to roll into the credits and be done with it. So.
Absolutely. So thanks for downloading us. Let Mental shut up. Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers with tons of technical difficulties. We hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe with the button on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. If you have questions or want to give us some show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers.
Texas, that's what everyone else does.
Or like our race team Facebook, 3 Pedal Mafia Lemons Race Team. If you'd like to help
We're
us
the
produce
best.
the
We're number
show,
one.
donate to the cause at patreon.com/everyone racers. We promise we won't buy more Christmas lights to add to our trailers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up unless that shiny side is a hastily decorated Christmas tree, and then just keep the wheels down. See y'all
We
next
promise
week.
we'll be better next week. Bye.
Because we are the champions of the world.
Of the world.